Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Incursions incoming to the MCU with an interesting tidbit from the Marvels and some possible updates about Avengers Secret Wars and Doctor Strange 3. Also, is Marvel Studios swapping out Kang for Doom? I'm gonna break down a bunch of interesting, possibly connected things we just learned this week about some upcoming MCU Incursion events, what they're gonna look like, and a general reminder of where Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness actually left things, how that movie actually might make sense at the end of the day. Please subscribe to all three channels in the New Rockstars network. Also, reminder, SAG-AFTRA has informed us that entertainment journalists like New Rockstars are allowed to continue covering movies like this. But you know what? We join these unions and calling to the studios and streamers to make a fair deal with the screenwriters and the professional working actors. Okay, in a spread with Total Film earlier this week, the Marvels director Nia DaCosta talked about what it was like working with Iman Vellani, whom we know from our interview with her last year is a true Marvel nerd with her own notebook filled with MCU lore, questions, and factoids, so much so that she's not afraid to pick fights with Kevin Feige over 616 versus 1999999. DaCosta said that she and Vellani had several conversations about the MCU at large during production on the Marvels, and that they were both, quote, bristling over how the MCU is handling incursions, and that DaCosta finds the explanation in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, quote, always very stressful. Now, why would DaCosta and Vellani need to even talk about incursions unless they factored into the plot of the Marvels in some way? We know the Bangles have the power to open rifts in space-time, a process that may erode the fabric of reality a little too much over repeated usage and result in the barrier between realities weakening and making this universe more prone to an incursion. A deserter, a druid, a mutant, and a talking cyborg dog are tasked with vanquishing an ancient demon, but they'll have to evade monsters, warlords, cannibals, and one angry ex-girlfriend along the way. That's the premise of a cool new graphic novel called The Codex that we are so excited to partner with on their Kickstarter campaign. The 196-page dark fantasy epic from Hayburner Studios is the first of 6 planned volumes from writer Corey Crater and a team of talented artists. We've read an advanced copy of the first volume and we love the mix of sci-fi and fantasies all set in a fully realized post-apocalyptic world. It's like if George R.R. Martin wrote an X-Men comic set in the world of Mad Max. It's got some great dialogue, beautiful art, and a great lived-in relationship between its main characters. All the pages are already completed and all the artists have been paid, so the Kickstarter campaign is really a way for you, the interested graphic novel readers and the New Rockstars audience, to discover the work. So click the link in this video's description to check out the Kickstarter and support the project. And as a reminder, in Multiverse of Madness, Reed Richards of Universe 838, played by John Krasinski, said,
Stephen, your arrival here confuses and destabilizes reality. The larger the footprint you leave behind, the greater the risk of an incursion. An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both entirely.
But I doubt it was Richards' word choice, his explanation, that Vellani and DaCosta take issue with. Because let's face it, it was more or less paraphrased exactly from Reed's explanation of incursions from Jonathan Hickman's new Avengers Volume 1 Everything Dies issue, which is really the first step on the road through Time Runs Out and the 2015 Secret Wars crossover event. Really, I think what they were referring to was that rather than Molecule Man being the anchor point for all these incursions in the comics, in the films, at least according to Multiverse of Madness, it's gonna be Doctor Strange. For Vellani and DaCosta to bristle against the definition of an incursions being different from the comics, they must know something beyond those seeds being planted in Multiverse of Madness, and as storytellers on the cosmic front of the MCU, they're probably stressed out about it being a process grounded in magic rather than one grounded in science. And the way Thor back in Phase 1 described magic as science we don't understand yet, maybe the Marvels is being pushed in a direction as being a movie that somehow merges the MCU understanding of science and the understanding of magic through items like the bangles, the 10 rings, and other like ancient Kree tech. Yeah, it sounds kind of messy. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe they don't either. But you know who might have the answer? Victor Von Doom, that's who. Remember, Multiverse of Madness established that dreamwalking was one way to destabilize the multiverse, the process of using sorcery to transport one's consciousness into the body of your multiversal self. Wanda was doing this in the movie, and 838, Stephen Strange did this to defeat the 838 Thanos at the cost of killing countless lives in another universe. And now, a new, unconfirmed report from Scooper, the Cosmic Circus, is claiming unspecified sources, and this is not verified yet, so please take it with a grain of salt, but here's the claim, quoting from their report. Marvel Marvel Studios will adapt elements from the Time Runs Out comic event for Doctor Strange 3. The film would pick up right where we left off in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where Clea traveled from another dimension to seek out Doctor Strange for his aid in fixing the incursion that he caused. Doctor Strange has been sought out by a multiversal organization called the Black Priests. Clea is a member of this organization. The Black Priests HQ will be in the nothing space of destroyed universes, which exists between the space of two dead universes caused by an incursion. It will be revealed in the film that the multiverse is dying. The cause of this decay is a result of the incursions happening all across the multiverse, the most recent being the one caused by Doctor Strange. The film will also elaborate on a point made in the previous movie regarding Doctor Strange and his threat to the multiverse. Now, we do not know how much of this is true, but here's what we do know. Clea definitely took a three-eyed Stephen Strange into the dark dimension in the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
You caused an incursion, and we're gonna fix it.
Yes, there is some implied we there, as in she's part of some organization. And we may learn that the dark dimension is kind of that nothing space. The fact that Strange ended this movie with 3 eyes and seemed totally okay with it implies that there's some active, comfortable status quo of dreamwalking going on with that Strange in that post-incursion universe. Elsewhere, we also know that the multiverse is dying because of incursions based on what Kang told Janet Van Dyne in Quantum Mania.
But I saw how it ends. I saw their chaos spreading across realities, universes colliding, endless incursions. I saw the multiverse, and it was dying.
And when Kang described this to Janet, he showed 2 rings, 2 timelines with little branches clashing into each other, making these little flashes, which represent incursions. So yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer that Marvel Studios is adapting Time Runs Out for the lead up to Secret Wars. The close paraphrasing from Jonathan Hickman's words for that 838 Reed Richards incursion speech made that clear. In Time Runs Out, we learned that a group of godlike beings called the Beyonders had set up an experiment with a molecule man in every universe. Molecule man basically being a ticking time bomb to destroy all of existence in one boom. Molecule Man learns what the point of his existence is, and he seeks out the help of Doctor Doom to find all the other Molecule Men and deactivate them. As Molecule Men get killed off, the multiverse starts to strain as a result, and the natural mechanism to fix that strain is incursions. So the Beyonders see this happening and begin to expedite this process. A lot of groups start to get involved in what's called a game of worlds, including a group called the Black Priests, which are basically golden helmeted magic elements of the multiverse. The TLDR of this is, in this Time Runs Out storyline, all Marvel hero groups fight it out. They all realize that it's too late to save themselves, and we end up in Battle World of Secret Wars. But yes, there is a lot more to the storyline. We're gonna do a separate video breaking it down properly, don't worry. But here's the thing, I know Iman Vellani loves this storyline. She brought it up in our interview last year. So I think instead of Molecule Man, the MCU is gonna use Doctor Strange, which could work given Doctor Strange's big role in Time Runs Out, but only really if in the movies he's partnered with a Doctor Doom. That is, if they were to plan for Doctor Doom to be the villain of Secret Wars and not Kang. Because up until this past year, it really seemed like Kang was going to be the main villain of the whole Multiverse Saga. That might not be the case anymore. Because check this out, there is another quote from that Total Film article that we found interesting from Marvel executive Mary Livanos. She said, "In Ms. Marvel, we learned that the bangle paired with some other form of power can force a temporary hole in space and time and lead somewhere else. With the power of both bangles, more is definitely possible. And we see the culmination of that over the course of this movie. It definitely leads to plentiful opportunities for the future of the MCU, whatever the Avengers and Secret Wars teams may want to do with them." It kind of sounds like, from the context here, she might be calling the Avengers 5 film Avengers and the Avengers 6 film Secret Wars. Why wouldn't she call the Avengers 5 film Kang Dynasty? Are Marvel executives considering a name change from Kang Dynasty and possibly moving away from Kang as being the big bad of the Multiverse Saga and more toward Doom? I mean, I'll leave that question with you. Really, should Doctor Strange be the constant of the Multiverse Saga, the cause of these incursions? Or would it be more fun to have someone else like Wanda or Loki or Sylvie? Of all those characters, Doctor Strange is the most recognized name to film-going audiences. Doctor Strange is the only one to have his name in the title of a Marvel movie. But more importantly, Doctor Strange has more of a relationship with Doctor Doom. It would be the Battle of the Doctors. That idea has me really excited. And you gotta think, Stephen Strange as a medical doctor just brings up more themes of do no harm and triage that might add a darker subtext to any multiversal game of worlds the MCU has planned. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to all 3 of our channels in the New Rockstars network. You can follow me at EA Voss. Thanks for watching. Bye.